You see someone across the room. Your brain processes exactly one piece of information, attractive. And then, for reasons no scientist has ever fully forgiven, your body reacts as if you have just made eye contact with a dragon that also happens to know your home address. Your heart rate spikes, your palms turn into some kind of tropical wetland. Your ability to form a basic sentence grabs its coat and leaves without so much as a note. 5 seconds ago, you were a competent adult who has successfully ordered coffee thousands of times. Now you are standing frozen, running a full committee meeting inside your skull. Should you say hello? Is hello too basic? What if hello is somehow, mathematically, the wrong word? What if they remember this exact moment for the rest of their life, tell their grandchildren about it, and it becomes a cautionary tale passed down for generations? Meanwhile, the actual person you're staring at is almost certainly wondering if the snack table has anything besides sad little cheese cubes, or replaying their own embarrassing thing from earlier that nobody else even noticed. So why does talking to an attractive stranger feel less like meeting a person and more like fighting a video game boss you never agreed to face? Here's the twist. Your brain isn't reacting to them. It's reacting to fan fiction it wrote about them, cast, directed, and fully believed within half a second with zero peer review. Your brain is constantly trying to predict the world before it finishes happening. See dark clouds, predict rain, hear a crash, predict danger, mostly useful. But hand it a nice smile and it stops being a weather forecaster and starts writing an unauthorized biography. They look confident, it announces, never embarrassed in their life, probably wakes up with birds already singing. Meanwhile, the actual human in question may have spent the last 10 minutes searching frantically for their car keys while holding their car keys. Your brain does not know this and, frankly, does not care. It saw one detail and built an entire fictional celebrity around it, complete with an origin story and a Wikipedia page. Psychologists have a name for this glitch, and it goes back almost 100 years to a researcher named Edward Thorndike, who in 1920 was studying something as unglamorous as army officers rating soldiers. Thorndike noticed that officers who thought a soldier looked physically impressive also rated that same soldier as smarter, more disciplined, and more capable, despite having exactly zero evidence for any of it. One good trait sent out invitations to a party of assumed virtues that never RSVP'd. This is the halo effect, and your brain runs it constantly, with the confidence of someone who has never once been asked for sources. Smile, filed under friendly. Confident tone, filed under definitely successful. Attractive, filed under has entire life figured out, never once cried in a bathroom. Which is hilarious because you personally know an extremely attractive person who still loses their phone while holding it, currently ringing. Your brain doesn't care about accuracy. It cares about speed because your ancestors didn't survive by background checking every stranger. They made a snap call, friend or foe, worth talking to or worth fleeing. That exact system is still fully operational today, sounding emergency sirens over someone who, worst case, might think your joke about the open bar was mediocre. It stays perfectly calm merging onto a highway at 70 miles an hour, but the second someone attractive glances over, it treats the room like the exits have been welded shut. Somehow the actual danger got smaller over the centuries and the alarm just never got the memo. A psychologist named Thomas Jilovich at Cornell studied this exact overreaction, calling it the spotlight effect. He had students wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room of strangers, then guess how many people noticed. The guesses were huge. The real number was close to zero. Everyone in the room was too busy panicking about their own imaginary spotlight to clock anyone else's shirt, haircut, or awkward wave. Which means the stranger currently starring in your internal disaster movie is very likely not thinking about you at all, and will forget this entire moment about 4 seconds after it ends, assuming it registers in the first place. They are, in all likelihood, running their own version of this exact same nonsense about someone else entirely. There's also a simple biological reason your body treats this like a 5-alarm fire. Researchers studying something called social evaluative threat have found your nervous system genuinely cannot tell the difference between being judged by an attractive stranger and being judged by an actual predator. Same racing heart, same tense muscles, same sudden inability to recall whether you've ever completed a sentence in your life. Your body slaps a giant red button labeled something important is happening and refuses to elaborate further, which is a spectacularly unhelpful way to run an emergency system. Susan Fiske, a psychologist at Princeton, found something that makes this even funnier. Her research showed attractive strangers often get rated as highly competent but assumed to be cold and unreachable, admiration without warmth, which is a polite academic way of saying your brain respects them so much it decided on your behalf that they're unavailable, like a museum exhibit behind a velvet rope you never actually checked for. Here's the part that should genuinely help. Research on approach behavior keeps finding attractive people get approached less often than you'd expect. precisely because everyone in the room runs this exact broken calculation at once. Someone braver will do it. They probably have plenty of attention already. I definitely embarrass myself. Multiply that by everyone near the snack table and you get an entire room frozen, waiting for a hero who never shows, all convinced they're the only coward present. So the intimidating aura is mostly a group hallucination, co-produced by strangers who don't realize they're all starring in the same low-budget movie called Nobody Says Hello. None of this means the fear is fake. It just means it was never really about the person in front of you. It was about a fictional character your brain assembled in half a second, based on a smile and a glitch first documented while rating soldiers on their haircuts. The confidence you're assuming, the impossible standards you're assuming, the rejection you've already scripted and scored with dramatic music, none of it confirmed by anything the actual human being has said or done. So what helps short of avoiding eye contact with anyone photogenic for the rest of your life? Mostly noticing the gap between what you actually know and what your brain invented for drama. You know they look nice, you don't know they've never been embarrassed. Your brain filled the blanks with a screenplay. The blanks were never real and neither probably was the screenplay. The good news is the same glitch works in your favor. People read confidence as competence just as fast as they read attractiveness as perfection. You don't need to become fearless. Nobody is. Nearly everyone you've ever admired for being smooth in a moment like this was, underneath it, quietly terrified too, just slightly better at moving before the fear finished writing its speech. You just need to move slightly before your internal security guard finishes writing the incident report. The person across the room isn't a final boss. They forget names. They tell jokes that land badly. They wonder in real time whether their own opener was too basic. The halo just makes them look armored from a distance. Up close, almost nobody feels armored at all. So next time your palms turn into a small tropical ecosystem and your vocabulary quietly evacuates, remember what's happening. You're not facing a dragon. You're facing a normal, slightly nervous human, while your ancient internal security guard stands there, tiny helmet on, plastic sword raised, whispering, "Are we sure this isn't a tiger?" It's never a tiger. It's just someone hoping the cheese cubes are better than they look.